Jasmine Jastovizzi is here. Don't forget to tap into the Darce podcast.
Cal on the ones and twos. We are live for a fantastic episode. And I am here for a big card.
I just don't know what people seen in tape.
I'll see you in that cash.
The main event of the evening.
This is Matt, the Steamroller Frivola. Tap into the Darce podcast for all your MMA bets.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are live for another episode of the Darce podcast. And we're talking UFC Fight Night Nashville on this one. Throwing hands with Mr. Plus Money, Cal McGregor on the ones and twos and on the analyst desk here with us today, breaking down some fights with us. Slick sends his best, taking a little social media break. He says what up, he's doing well, and he wishes the Darce family the best. Guys, we're coming off a crazy UFC 317 card. Ilia Topuria reigns supreme, sends a third straight legend to the Shadow Realm in astonishing fashion, just as he said he would in the first round. And Alessandro Pantoja makes his mark for maybe one of the greatest 125ers of all time already. So first, before we jump into this fight night, Mr. Plus, let me get your reactions to some of the great things that happened in the last fight card. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Pantoja is the GOAT in that division, and it's not going to change. I don't think there's anybody out there in his weight class that could touch him. As far as some of the other fights, man, a little disappointed in Royval. Wish I saw more, but Joshua Van, man, that was probably the best showing that we've seen from him. So he looks special. The fact that they made that automatically the next title fight's kind of crazy. I don't think Joshua Van's ready for that. He's going to get eaten alive by Pantoja. That's not even going to be a close fight, boys. I just want you to know. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited about this card. A lot of amazing, exciting fighters on this card. So I'm ready.
Low-key might be slept on, the fight nights. Everyone's like, oh, man, this is lame. They always produce bangers. There goes Cal, just as I was going to ask him about his thoughts on some of the matchups, because you mentioned Van and Royval. What a banger. Fight of the night, fight of the year candidate. Significant strike record landed by both of them in a 3-rounder only. And Van just showing his boxing super clean. But Royval didn't move his head once. He was just there to get hit. So we wonder what a fight's going to be like. Immediately matching up a 23-year-old against freaking Pantoja. Fought 6 times in 350 days. Van is a beast. But yeah, I wonder if he's ready too, man. And then immediately the matchup we also are going to get, it looks like you said, they walking into the cage, Patty Pimblett, I see in JB in the comments, says Patty will beat that little sausage, little Spanish sausage, hand sanitizer boy, as he says. But immediately walking into the cage, you think that's going to be the next title shot. Then rumors of him fighting Gaethje. Then he says online, I'm not fighting in August, so I have no idea what Patty's going to do. We'll see what next matchup happens there. And there comes Cal, just in time for me to stall long enough. Cal, any thoughts on UFC 317 before we jump into this one?
Jack the Joker. What a hard one that one was to swallow. Man, your boy RoboCop Plus, he just quite simply, he's underrated just because of how he looks. He looks like the Goomba who's defending the mob boss, and you always think he's like fight IQ is low, but that was a great setup for a knockout. So, yeah, that Jack the Joker one hurt.
Yeah, I had a couple plays with him. Spread that lost, decision, little sprinkle. I thought he was going to be able to do his thing, but not at all. Spread plays on Hyder and Royval lost for me too. So some upsets. Plus, how did you do on the card itself overall in 317?
I got eaten pretty bad. It wasn't my best showing. Luckily, we had won lots of units on PFL. So, I don't lie when I lose. We lost. It wasn't a good card. I'm ready to bounce back, though, for sure. And I'll be honest. Last week was PFL only. They had the Europe and the Rydia card, whatever, cleaned up there. That was like easy pickings.
Nice. Yeah, I saw some of those matchups. Some dogs dominated in that one. And yeah, I was about to get smacked myself too on 317. I did have a down card, but Ilia Topuria round 1 finish saved my night. So shout out Ilia. He's my GOAT all of a sudden. I was a hater. Now I'm a believer. And shout out UFC Nashville. Here we go into this card, guys. Headlined by Derrick the Black Beast Lewis taking on Tallison Teixeira. Huge Brazilian heavyweight striker. Interesting main event there. Lots of other fights to talk about. And we're going to kick it off with 3 fights right away. It's time to jump all aboard the Mr. Plus Parlay Bus.
And I'll see you when that shit catches.
Mr. Plus, Parlay Bus, bet it all in trust. Jabs and hooks, it's all about the rush. Put it down on the underdog, never hush. Odds stack high, feel the thrill, that's a must. And I'll see you when that shit cashes. Celebrate the wins with...
We got a plus 230 this week. I'm sure it's cashing. Let's jump right into it. Leg number 1 could be the easiest leg of the bus this week. I'm going with the lady fight, Eduarda Moura. This girl is on her way up while we're talking Lauren Murphy is on her way out. And truly, this is a fade for me, boys. When you take 2.5 years off and your last fight was an L and now you're fighting again and you're in your 40s, I'm fading. I'm taking the bigger girl, the more powerful girl, the stronger girl, the younger, healthier girl. Give me Eduardo Moura by mauling. And I won't be surprised if she finishes this fight. Although, let's not get it twisted. Lauren Murphy was, once upon a time, a dog. Now she's almost 42 years old. Let's jump right into leg number 2. I'm going with Chidi Njokuani. And I know a lot of people are going to be on Jake Matthews for this one, but not me, man. I'm going with Chidi. 3-fight win streak. It seems as though he's found his rhythm, and this dude is the biggest 170 we've ever seen. 6'3", towers over this 5'11" Jake Matthews, and I really think this 7-inch reach advantage is going to be monstrous. And I really just think he's going to be more powerful in there. Stronger guy, more powerful, better stand-up. Don't get me wrong, Jake Matthews is a scrapper, and he likes to clinch situations, but not with somebody as big as Chidi. I think that's going to be a problem. I could see a knee up the middle, but I could see Chidi putting this guy's lights out, and that's not easy to do because Jake Matthews doesn't necessarily get finished often. But again, look at these guys' resumes last couple fights. I really like the fighters that Chidi has beaten better. I mean, Zaleski is no slouch, bro, and he got KO'd. I know we were on him too. I was on Zaleski that fight. So I'm riding with Chidi here to cash leg number 2 and to take us home. And I'll meet you guys at the cash counter with this one. I am going with my boy, Steve the Mean Machine Garcia, who has been a cash cow for me in all of his last 5 fights. I've been on him every time. This dude is nothing but an ATM, and he's aggressive, and he pushes forward. And when you're fighting a guy that's almost 10 years older than you, or whatever it is, 4 or 5 years older, excuse me, and he's on his way out, 4-fight losing streak. Calvin Kattar just ain't it anymore. The Boston finisher hasn't finished anybody since 2020. And in 2020, he was 31. I don't see it, guys. Mean Machine is on his way up. He's going to break into the top 15 with this one. And I could really see him putting Calvin Kattar out. He's a very big, strong 145er, 6 feet tall. Dude is no joke. I'm taking the Mean Machine, and you guys already know where this goes. I'll see you when that shit cashes.
There you have it, man. What odds do you have on that parlay, Mr. Plus?
Plus 232.
232 there. And it's an interesting one because, first of all, you're starting off with a big favorite in Eduarda Moura. I mean, Murphy coming back as a 42-year-old, 2.5-year layoff. She's got something here, Cal, maybe. But, yeah, she's either going to be a punching bag or she's going to have some grit in her and make it competitive against a fighter that, yeah, obviously she has way more experience, way higher level experience, but Moura's way younger, way bigger. What do you think? Is it easy work for Moura?
Just quickly, is my audio not too bad there outside? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just think that it's momentum versus, yeah, it's like Plus said, one step out. I mean, Murphy, it's extremely hard for me to bet her side. She's been in some wars. She's a little bit washed at this point. And I wanted to see value in the dog. I was looking at value on the dog, but I really, truly do like momentum in here. And I just think that that's definitely the side. So give me more as well, too. I just think that's going to be the play.
Okay. Next fight up, Chitty Bang Bang, who's looking, like you said, really good off that win over Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos. Dos Santos couldn't get into range. He really struggled. And Njokuani looks to have improved takedown defense, improved grappling defense a little bit. At least against that opponent, like Plus mentioned, he's going to have a similarly really big reach advantage. What do you think? Do you think he can do his thing in the same way against Jake Matthews here?
It's going to be a hard one for me. I'm actually looking at Jake Matthews as one of my dog of the week. I do see value in that side, although I do see fully what Plus is looking at with Chitty. I've been a Chitty supporter and backer since the Dana White Contender Series and cashed on him, and even lost him in his decision to Duraev, which I think he won. But I don't know, man. Does he get to a guy who hasn't been knocked out since 2016? A guy who's probably going to be able to outpace him if it does go longer. My suggestion is this, because I do see where Plus is going with the KO with Chitty. If you are on the parlay bus, look at this fight live, and just pay attention to that first round and look at the takedown and look at how Chitty's responding. Because Jake Matthews tends to get at least a minute of control time every time he takes a guy down, and he shot about 5 or 6 takedowns last fight. So he is committing to that wrestling game more. So I am leaning Jake Matthews, but I do have a sharper play on it as well too that we'll talk about more when we get into the dogs of the week.
Okay, so a little more thoughts on that fight. I'm going to give you some more later on in the show as well on that fight. I think it's going to be a good one, though. Chitty's tricky opponent with that long, rangy Muay Thai style, and that's what Plus favors in this one on the parlay bus. And then closing it out with a really good fight. Plus, you like Steve Mean Machine Garcia. Before I go to Cal, I got to say, look, he's the guy that's not afraid to stand right in the center and trade in the pocket, right? Cater never been knocked out in the UFC. Do you think he's the first guy to ever knock him out in his pro career?
Yeah, I do. I really do. And I was just talking to Cal about this before we started the show. I see Steve Garcia making his way up the rankings and fighting some way better competition. But if you look at his resume, like right now, I mean, the Chase Hooper win is big. The Melky Costa win looks good. Kyle Nelson's a dog, right? I mean, I remember Cal even almost sold me on Kyle Nelson, and I was close to clicking the button, but I was just like, I've already won 3 in a row on this guy. I can't not click the button. But yeah, I mean, just his wins are great. He beat Chepe Mariscal. We know another dog. I mean, this dude, you're right. You want to talk about someone who's going to stand in the middle, go toe to toe, blow for blow. It's Mean Machine, and I mean that's a guy I'll put money on every time. So he's got a lot of performance bonus, performance of the nights, man. This guy is exciting. He's fun, and when you get a line at -130 and he's fighting a guy 5-6 years older that lost his last 4, I get it. Calvin Kattar was in the top 5 once upon a time. It's a different top 5 nowadays, so I think he's on his way out of the UFC.
Yeah, it's been a nice win streak for Steve Garcia, and he's putting everybody away on it. But Cal, this is an interesting one because it's a very different stylistic matchup for Kattar, who's had some trouble recently, right? Like after a couple wars he had, lost that fight to Emmett that he probably should have won, that split decision. Got beat up a couple fights prior by Max Holloway in the freaking bloodbath and broad daylight on ABC that I'll never forget. And then an injury that he sustained in that Arnold Allen fight. He comes back. He gets out grappled and dominated by Aljo, right? Then he faces Zalal. His grappling defense is way better. He doesn't get taken down, but he spends time kind of just in between and ends up getting outpointed and outstriked at range. So now he's got a guy that's just going to trade with him. Does Kattar have that New England toughness still to last in a war against Garcia, or is Garcia going to be too much for him?
In a short answer, no. But there is a little bit of intricacy to this. I mean, if you're looking at Garcia, like Plus was saying, in 17 of his pro wins, 14 have been by KO. The guy hasn't won a decision since 2018. Do you understand what that means? So he's won a whole bunch, but it's all been by KO. This guy just finishes people. His last 9 wins have come via KO. That's my point. That's absolutely crazy. A win streak by KO is absolutely nuts. On the flip side, Kattar, he's lost 5 of his last 6. Kattar has, like, it's good that you actually even brought up the Emmett fight, because a lot of people will be like, well, he could have won that and this and that, but he absorbed 159 strikes from Josh Emmett. That's not good. He absorbed 74 strikes from Yusuf Zalal. He absorbed 176 from Giga Jakazi. He absorbed 445 from Max Holloway. His record isn't that great, and we argue that he is a level check, and we argue that he is of the level and he's fought the best of the best, but his record's trash at the level. It really is. And although he is a really good striker, he gets hit a lot. And the finality on this one is you just can't get touched by Garcia. Nelson proved that. Nelson got hit, and I can argue on that one this way or that. He got hit in the back of the head a couple times. But the reality of the fact is Garcia lands hard. on everybody and puts them out, and that's it. So I like that the Plus has backed him, and it's a no-brainer for Plus because he just keeps cashing with him.
Yeah, man. I do think that Kattar is still a quality fighter. Like, I don't think he's washed by any means. He's still a really solid MMA boxer. But I think, like you mentioned, the accumulation of damage and where he's at, the different styles of guys he's fought, this might be a better stylistic matchup for him to actually land his own damage. But it's taken its toll. And I think, like you said, you can't trade with Garcia at this point. So if he lands a big one that hurts him, even if Kattar doesn't get finished, I could see Garcia just kind of taking over the fight and dictating it. And I think he gets a big win here. Interesting bust here for Mr. Plus, getting good odds there. He's going Mora, Chitty, and Mean Machine, Steve Garcia, all aboard, like he says. See you when that shit cashes. Well, we may be split. Hey, someone's going to win. We're going to talk more about some of these fights later on in the show. But next up, we got to go to Cal's guest segment. Put your hands up real quick down the middle. Sings hang. I hit you with the Cal 1-2.
Hey, I'm UFC President Dana White, and you're in the ring with Canada's cornerman, Callum McGregor.
Nice. Oh, he's muted.
Wow, he's muted. He's muted. You think that the guy who always ridicules you guys in the back room privately for being muted, usually that was in honor of Slick, actually. In honor of Slick, right there, muted myself.
Slick's always muted, yeah.
I'm going to come with Fatima Klein. And, I come with the 1-2, and I want to leave you guys an out, but I was really looking at this fight, and I wanted to talk about it because I think a lot of people may try to parlay her at minus 1,200 stupidly because they think that's a spot if they like her as a fighter. Never do that because banana peels are real, and a fight is a fight, and anybody can go out, so never bet at minus 1,200. In fact, you should never bet over a minus 500. But if we're looking at it, I think that Klein likes to sort of ride the top. Martinez is really gritty, really tough. I don't think Martinez wins in any way, shape, or form. She has a 50% takedown defense, and although she is decent on the ground, she's never faced a fighter like Klein. If you go back through Combate, she's fought, a lot of strikers, but she's not fought any grapplers of this level. Like the best grappler she's fought is Alice Ardelian. So I like a submission. I like it as a two-piece play. We're going to look at it like this. Submission, Klein, plus 250. A lot of people are going to look for value, might like the decision, and I get it because decision is a likelihood. It's a strong one. It's at about minus 180 right now, at over 2.5. Sorry, to scramble through this. So my two play is this. Over 2.5, minus 180. Klein by submission, plus 250. If you were to sprinkle about 1.75 units on the over 2.5, and then sprinkle a 0.75 units on the submission, you walk away pretty much scot-free unless Klein were to get a KO under 2.5. And I just don't see that happening. I could see her landing some shots up top. And I was talking to you about this in the back room, Brasco. I think she's going to be able to land some shots controlling Martinez on the ground. But Martinez's grittiness is going to, work against her. And then what's going to happen is we're going to see Klein just sink in a rear naked choke and likely get a submission there. So I just like that way to attack it. I'm going to be posting it online, and I'll tag you guys in it so you can see exactly how to bet this so you don't walk away with a big loss if we were to get a loss here or there. So either way, guys, that's the play. Cal 1-2, Fatima Klein. Let's go.
Interesting. All right, so Cal giving you a little strategic outlook on how to bet this fight in multiple ways. Give yourself an out if you don't hit the prop. Maybe cash the over and the fight goes the distance, and no matter what, he's trying to give you a profitable edge because those are the two most likely outcomes. Like you mentioned, I am a little worried about the ground and pound situation. Fatima Klein can be heavy on top, but you like the toughness of Melissa Martinez. You like her ability to not give up on herself, even if she's getting hit, which I kind of agree with, which will present opportunities for her to turn around, give up the neck. And like we were talking about, there's no toughness when there's no air in your lungs. There's no toughness for that. So I like a Klein sub too. She has no subs on her pro record, Mr. Plus. This could be the first one. And minus 1,200, I think the implication is that she can win this fight inside the distance. So how would you bet it if you are?
It's definitely live for a sub. But like you just said, Brasco's kind of scared of that ground and pound. And let's be honest, she's a dog, man. I remember when she fought JJ, she had her moments, man. She's definitely like a stand-up kickboxer style, but she's got great grappling too. So I'm excited to see it. She's a lot bigger 5'6" versus 5'2". So maybe she doesn't look like a big, huge reach advantage. So maybe she's got the leg reach advantage. Maybe she could set up a body triangle and, like you guys said, choke her out. So I could see that happening. Fatima Klein definitely going to get this one done. Not a parlay piece, though, at minus 1,400. But inside the distance, I feel for sure. But you're right, Cal. Martinez is tough, so could be a decision. But, yeah, if you look at Fatima's wins, it's either decision or knockout. Going to be a little dangerous on the sub, but I think it could happen. Sometimes when they don't have one, like, they go for that to get one on their record, So
100%. And she does have a bunch of wins in competitions in grappling tournaments. So, she's an experienced grappler, even though it may not show up on her record with submission wins. She's got a lot of experience in these competitions. Cal, go ahead.
Yeah, she hasn't had a sub since 2021, but she's an elite level grappler. Like that's what I was saying. Like although her striking is really good for MMA, she's an elite level grappler, and it's just going to be the first time Martinez has faced it. But I think that the grittiness could sort of force either a sub or a decision.
Yeah, and Martinez style is kick heavy. The kicks could really get her taken down. She's going to have to leave her feet a lot. You catch a kick, you fall off balance, you end up on bottom, you're in trouble right away with Klein. So, yeah. Plus, I agree. I was impressed. Even though Jasmine Jasdavicius kind of dominated her, Klein had moments. Klein popped her with a couple shots. She never gave up on herself. She showed some mental toughness, too. So, I like her. We're going to back her. Maybe the odds makers agree. Right? I mean, it made her a massive favorite for a reason. All right, guys. That's the Cal 1-2 for you. Interesting look there. Next up, put your hands together. It's time for the Brasco breakdown.
Brasco's breakdown. Brasco's breakdown.
All right, and I hate to go against the plus bus and my guy, but I like Jake Matthews as an underdog this week at plus 125. Like Plus said, can't be aligned on all of them, but one of us is going to win, so that's the good thing. Here's why I like Jake Matthews to beat Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in this fight. I think that he can use his striking and his boxing to set up his grappling where he's going to have a decided advantage. Now, Chitty's going to be tough to get into range. We saw Easy D in his last fight was lost out there, just could not figure out how to get in rhythm, get into range. Those long, straight weapons, Muay Thai style from Chitty, too tough to deal with. And if you're up against the fence and unable to take him down, just trying to wear on him, but unsuccessful with your takedowns, you're going to get really deterred and defeated like we saw Easy D. And Chitty just did his thing after that. So I don't see it playing out like that for Matthews, who's super experienced, man. This guy's only 30 years old, but he's been in the UFC since 2014. He has a shit ton of fights. He's always put together like a 3-fight win streak against mediocre, decent competition, and then taking a loss against someone, a higher tier fighter, But I think after fighting a couple rangy fighters in his last couple, he fought Michael Morales, went the distance and lost, and then beat Phil Rowe. He's prepared against this style of rangy guy that he's got to work to close the distance against and then mix in his grappling. Cal mentioned earlier on Matthews' takedown attempts, and I think he sticks to that game. This is also a guy that I just kind of like. Yeah, I think he's coming into his prime maybe at 30. He's been here forever, and I checked him out on IG. He's just a builder. He's out there just building shit and taking ice baths. So I think he's got that farmer strength, and that just kind of grit inside him. And I think he can put it together here. Chitty. Nothing to sleep on, man. He's on a nasty win streak. But if you put him on his back, sometimes he stays on his back. So I think he's done better to defend his takedown defense has gotten a lot better. But we'll see how he does if he's actually forced to work off his back in the center of the octagon away from the fence. And I think Matthews might be able to put him there. So I'm going with Jake Matthews. I think it's going to be a good fight. Cal, let me get your thoughts. We know Plus likes Chitty, but I want to hear from you as well.
Yeah, like I said, I was looking at this one initially to just sort of see that Jake would likely, squeak this one over. And I think that the way that I really want to actually attack this now after you and I were talking about it, Brasco, was although he's the dog and it's plus 130, I sort of like that 2.5 minute mark in that first round. And if you have a bet or a book that allows you to live bet and they keep it wide open all the time, at about 2.5 minutes leading up to that, you're going to see Chitty likely come out, land some pretty aggressive strikes. He's going to do one of two things, like a bull in a china shop in that first minute, or he's going to try to pace himself. And with Matthews' cardio, he probably will. But he'll likely land some nice combinations, and we might get an even better line and get Matthews around plus 180, around plus 200, right before he takes Chitty down at about 2.5 minutes, and then holds him there till the end of the round. That's sort of the way I see the fight going. I think he's going to get a couple takedowns, sort of stay away from the big power, land a good jab, and win a decision potentially. So yeah, I like that, but I think the live bet is the way I'm going to attack that one. So
always looking for.
I don't want to go against the plus, man. I don't want to get run over.
No, always looking for a little live angles. Plus, how do you see it playing out? Do you think Chitty's just going to straight up front kick him in the face and sleep him, or do you think it's going to be like a hard fought decision win for Chitty?
No, I think Chitty's going to really fuck him up. I don't think it's going to be that close of a fight. I'm sorry. I do like Jake Matthews. I had him against Francisco Prado, but Francisco Prado's not UFC caliber, right? Phil Rowe is the weakest version of the lengthy guy that we're talking about. He has nowhere near the power that Chitty has in his hands. I really just look at these last few fights and how these guys are progressing or regressing, right? And I just feel like whenever Jake Matthews fights someone that's stronger than him, he loses. So I like him. He's been in the UFC forever, like you just said. He's 30 years old, going on 50 in the UFC. But I got to side with Chitty, who's 6 years older, but is going to be the guy who looks like a fucking statue. And again, I think it's going to be the reach, man. I don't think Jake Matthews is going to be able to land the jab with a 7-inch reach disadvantage and face front kicks coming at you. I just don't see it. Chitty's I feel like he came from Contender Series. He had a couple great wins, then took a few L's, then now has another couple great wins, and he's on a streak. And like Cal said about momentum, I think this is it, where Jake Matthews has always been like this: up, down, up, down, up, down, win 2, lose 1, win 1. It's just always all over the place. So give me Chitty, and that's why he's ranked higher than him anyway.
There you go. Chitty coming off a great performance, plus thinks he does a little more of the same. The long-range weapons.
If he dusts him, plus, I'm sorry, Brasco, if he dusts him, I can already see the chat. I want you to drop a video into the chat and let me and Brasco have it. Because if Chitty knocks him out, drop the video in. I'll make a reel if we are wrong, and I will have the bus running over me and Brasco if we are wrong.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm minus 158. So I mean, if this crashes the bus, I'm gonna hear it too. But at least it was the Brasco breakdown.
Yeah, good debate on this one too. Yeah. So Anthony Ramirez joining the show late. What's up, man? Hit the like button on the way in. By the way, guys, appreciate you being here in the live chat. Go back and make sure, you can always watch back and rewind after the show. You can get the Cal 1-2, get the Plus Bus, get the Brasco breakdown. We're here debating Jake Matthews versus Chitty and Joe Kawani. And we're moving on to the next one. We had some good discussion on that. It's time to talk about our dogs of the week, guys. It's time for the dogs of the week. All right. Well, I really like Jake Matthews as my dog of the week, but obviously I did that as a Brasco breakdown. Man, I wanted to make mine Lauren Murphy. I don't really have one, but I think she's got a chance in this fight, man. I think maybe here's my only angle, and maybe this is just a story I'm making up in my head. She's coming back because she said that she hated how she went out against Jessica Andrade. She was like, man, I can't go out like that. Like that sucked. And she's one of these fighters. I think this is going to be her last fight again, but it's not one of those retirement fights where it's like, oh, I love the memories. Thanks so much. She's coming back mad that she lost in that fashion that she did in the last one. Jessica Andrade to Eduarda Moura, way lower level. I mean, I know that she's fighting Valentina Shevchenko. Murphy is a decent wrestler. Plus, you don't think she has a chance to take her down?
I mean, she might. It's not crazy. It's just didn't she put her gloves down after that fight? Didn't she retire and now she's back? I don't know, man. I can't get with it. 2.5 years, too much time off. And the crossover from being in your late 30s to now being 42, man, that's all right.
Cal, do we have a chance? She's got wins over Joanne Wood and Andrea Lee. We got a shot here.
I mean, there's usually a rule when someone's taking that much time off and they're older, it's never going to work out well. Like if you're younger and you take time off, you're like, man, what's the improvements that have happened in 2 years? But I mean, what's going to be the improvements for Murphy? I mean, yeah. She always reminds me of this hard ass bitch that you'd see in the bar late at night that you'd never want to go near because she just dummy you with a beer ball. Anyway, but yeah, Laura Murphy, no, not the pick.
For sure, man. All right,
she definitely chews tobacco and she'll spit on your face at the bar. Really, she's the chick outside the bar bumming a cigarette. Yeah.
Well, she honestly, I don't think Moore deserves to be minus 650. So I'm taking the
That's
cigarette
it. Plus, that's it.
biker chick, tobacco chewing Lauren Murphy to just grind one out. Maybe steal a round, maybe spread. I don't know. Maybe I'm just picking at straws here. Doesn't matter. Dog of the week for you, Mr. Plus. Who do you like?
She's got that alcoholic face. I'm going with the Black Beast, bro. How you gonna give me plus 275 against a guy that has one fucking UFC fight? I can't do it. I get it. It was Justin Taffa, and he ruined him in the first round. Great. Justin Taffa is nobody compared to the Black Beast. And you know what the Black Beast loves to do? Go and surprise these shittier fighters. The Rodrigo Nascimento win, the flying knee to Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. We remember that one. I mean, I think it's going to be some crazy shit again. Don't get me wrong. Tallison Teixeira is what, 7'3" or some shit? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous how big this guy is. But if anyone can take him down, it's the Black Beast. And I mean, we all thought the Black Beast was going to retire after that flying knee victory and the balls was hot speech. And it was great. It could have been a great moment for him. But he signed like a 7-fight deal after that. So this dude's going strong, 40-year-old heavyweight. And the UFC would love nothing more than the Black Beast to get a victory. I don't give a fuck about Tallison Teixeira's stock going up. Again, second real UFC fight, and you're fighting Derrick Lewis. This is a levels check. I don't know how he's minus 270. This should be a fucking pick 'em. If anything, maybe Teixeira could be like a minus 150. Line's way off. I'm all over it. Give me my dog, the Black Beast. And I've cashed on him before at this type of money. So let's do it again.
Derrick the Black Beast Lewis. Cal, he's giving the main event pick. I mean, we didn't even tee it up. We got to talk about the main event of the evening. All right, and he's going with Derrick the Black Beast Lewis. Man, I mean, this guy, obviously the UFC's knockout leader all time. He can put anyone away with a clean shot. We've seen him do it in a multitude of ways: elbows, uppercuts, flying knees, like Plus just mentioned. At 40 years old, is his athleticism still there enough to find a knockout shot against a freakishly tall opponent in Tallison Teixeira? 6'7", insane reach, I think 83-inch reach. And Cal, I don't know, man. I want to believe again. I love that switch knee that he hit against Rogerio de Lima, but I'm feeling like Teixeira might actually be a prospect that's real. He's kind of smooth with that long, rangy striking game. And I think he may be able to piece Derrick Lewis up at range. Lewis is going to be able to obviously try to move in and close distance and set up a big shot. But I think in the process, he might be getting bit backed. And I think Teixeira's got this one, unfortunately, Mr. Plus. But what do you think, Cal?
Well, actually, as I was just about to sort of, obviously I can't talk about Matthews as my dog of the week, and that was actually going to be the next one I was going to talk about. Was you got to look at Lewis, man. He's fought at the level and in the main event how many times now? And although sometimes he's let us down, seems like he might not want to be in there and everything else, this just comes down to the fact that 8 fights. Tallison has had 8 fights. And although he is a phenom and he is a beast, I would rather be on a bet where Lewis wins than Tallison right now. And I know that you want to be on a winning side, but I can't risk betting bigger money on Tallison and he loses. It just doesn't make sense to me because it's a level check right now. It's a giant one for him. I do like actually the Lewis KO. I always look at that. So if there's depending on the line between the dog money and the KO, I'll see where the value lies. But I'm with Lewis here. I think that the one other thing you got to look at is, although Tallison, has the height and he's big and everything, that doesn't mean shit when you're facing a big striker. Like a big striker, if he throws a big overhand, that chin is right there for me to hit. It's there. You don't have to put it up in the air. It's already there for me to touch. So that height advantage doesn't always work like in your favor. And he's going to have to keep him at bay with teeps and everything else and sort of catch him as he comes in order to actually win this fight. If he gets aggressive, I could see him getting caught, and I see the value with plus.
Wow. Also, Tallison Teixeira, he looks good, but he's unproven. He's never been out of the first round. So there's a world where, Lewis wears on him a little bit and makes him work. And makes him, shows him that experience and that drags him into a place he hasn't been yet. So, plus talked about if Lewis lands on top. I mean, yeah, what if Teixeira's on his back? I haven't, answer questions there. So we'll see. I definitely don't, want to lay him minus 280 in anything, but I think he can show out. So if anything, I would take Teixeira knockout. You guys like a Lewis knockout. So we think someone's getting put away in this main event, and I agree. It should be fireworks in the main event. All right, guys, interesting one there. Cal, your dog of the week, you were going to say Lewis as well, so we'll move on. It's time to come together, guys. Lace them up for a Darce parlay. All right, guys. Shout out Lord of Pies. Shout out Anthony watching the show. Smash that like button and fire away your questions in the live chat. We'll answer them right after this segment. Plus, stuck in the Darce lock right there. You got to love it, though. Whoever's in there is completely tapped out right now. They're going to sleep if they're not tapping. All right, man. Darce parlay. I guess, Cal, we'll kick it off with your leg. Who you got first?
Yeah, so actually my leg will actually be the anchor. So it is a hedge option, although I don't.
Oh wait, okay. So wait, you're the last leg. All right, I was.
Just if you want, Plus is back now. Let me drop last.
Yeah, exactly. You go last. Let's go in order so we can keep it chronological here. Plus, first leg of the parlay. What do we got?
My bad. I was choking. I was tapping someone. Someone was tapping out. I didn't feel their tap, man. I didn't let go. All right, leg number 1 of the Darce this week. It's another fade for me. I love this guy's brother, but I hate this guy. I'm fading Walter Walker, bro. He's a can. This is a nobody. Bro, he is one of the worst in the heavyweight division. I know he got the submission and real quick in the first round in the last fight against the nobody. I'm going with Kennedy Nzechukwu, who at heavyweight is looking like a problem, bro. The speed, the power. If these guys stay on the feet, which I think they will, because the physicality from Kennedy is going to be there. There's not a world where he doesn't piece Walter Walker up. I think he could body shot his way to victory, bro. Walker always keeps his hands real high and in weird to try and grab your head or start some sort of hand fighting with you. I think Kennedy can easily body shot, piece him up, elbows from hell, uppercuts out of nowhere. And I'm just not a Walter Walker fan. Ever since I saw that loss against Lucas Brasco, there's nothing, I don't care, nothing will ever make me like this guy. And Dontel May's submission on the heel hook, that's like, that didn't even count as a win for me. I'm going with Kennedy. Kennedy's the man here. He fucked Lucas Brasco up, the only guy that beat Walter Walker. Not that we're going UFC math, but Kennedy Nzechukwu, man, the African Savage, easy win for first leg of the Darce. This is going to be the easiest leg.
Kennedy with the reach advantage, with the huge lanky frame. Cal Plus said it. If he keeps the fight standing, I think he does damage. He does work. He's been getting better and better at Fortis MMA. He's had some rough spots where he's shown some, he's kind of green here and there. But I think he's, exactly. He's getting smarter. He's improving his game fight by fight. And really, it comes down to his ability to stay off the mat. Walker's a tricky grappler. 2 of his last 3 fights, he's won by heel hook submission, plus mentioned the Dontel Mays. Then he got Junior Tafa by heel hook as well. So he can get you there, I guess. But it was a weird, verbal tap where Tafa just screamed and the ref called the fight off. I mean, come on. You're not going to get a third leg lock. Get that out of here. And Nzechukwu's got to have enough experience in training at Fortis not to get leg locked here. So, yeah, I like Plus's mention of the clinch weapons too, the knees and elbows in there. I think he wins this fight. If it's past the 7-minute mark, Cal, and Walker hasn't gotten a takedown, I think he's toast. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's reliant on the takedown. It's reliant on, on the feet. He's in a lot of trouble with Kennedy. Kennedy will go in there and he's all damaged all the time. And you spoke about one good thing. Kennedy, although he's shown poor fight IQ at moments, he seems to have turned a corner with that. When you have a coach like Saeed Saud and your corner, it's the general, right? You learn from a guy like that. That's a kind of guy that's going to whip you into shape. And he takes no bullshit. He tells it like it is. So I imagine that Kennedy's really turned a corner that way. But I think the difference will be the physicality. I don't think Walter Walker is going to be able to get this to the ground. I think the physicality on the fence is going to be too much for him. And I think Kennedy's going to land those elbows. I think that's going to be huge. Those uppercuts, as Plus was saying, the elbows, that's going to be the difference. The dirty box on the cage, even reversing positions and landing elbows and breaking off. You're just going to see a lot of that. And I like Kennedy too. I think it's a great spot.
Dirty boxing is my new favorite thing in MMA. It's just the best way. It's the best way to mix in grappling and striking and just be savage and relentless in there. I like Kennedy for the dirty boxing. All right, first leg. I'm going from the second leg. I'm going with Chris, the Action Man Curtis, for my leg. And this is an interesting scrap against Max Griffin, two veteran strikers here, the tail end of their careers, southpaw versus orthodox. So we're going to have, switch stances. And I think they could both exchange in the pocket here. But I think if it's another close one, Curtis with his forward pressure, with his constant activity, with his durability that I think is still there. We know we took a head kick and took a lot of damage against Roman Kopylov and a lot of damage in some recent fights, but he's still willing to march forward and eat punches to deliver his own. So I think that'll still be there. And you look at Max Griffin, 2-3 in his last 5. 3 of those fights split decisions, and he's losing to lesser competition, taking on lesser fighters than Chris Curtis is. So I think Curtis got this one, but I didn't want to lay him necessarily in that many. I'll use him as a Darce leg. I think this could be a close fight because, Cal, I wonder where he is in his career right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually was breaking this one down and was maybe looking at Griffin as the dog. And follow me on this. So that's how I started it, and that's not how I finished it. I think that maybe my slight dislike for Curtis sort of has me always looking the other way. He's had some decisions where maybe should have gone his way because he fights in these close pockets and he stays off punches and maybe his opponents get scored for more than they're worth sometimes because he uses his boxing and he's able to actually avoid a lot of the main strikes anyways. But Curtis, I think he wins this one, man. I don't see Griffin really being able to get to the takedowns. And then on the feet, I think Curtis is going to have his field day with this one. But I do like what you said there. Curtis always finds himself in these wishy-washy decisions, and so does Griffin. What's the play? I'm touching this one, split decision. That's one of my props of the week.
Yeah, plus Curtis has split decisions lined throughout his record as well. Fight to end by split could be the play. How do you see this one playing out?
This is going to be this one's going to be kind of boring, if you ask me. I think this could be a boring fight. Little calculated strikers. Neither guy is a killer, and these guys love going to decision or losing inside the distance. So I think this is a decision fight for sure. I like where Cal's head's at there in the split. Action Man should get this done. He's the better all-around fighter. Got way better L's on his record. I got to think Chris Curtis jumps back into win column with this one. I hope he does. I don't like Max Payne Griffin. Dude's pain for what, bro? He doesn't even dish out pain.
I like both of these veterans, man. I like all these fighters, and I like Chris Curtis to pick up this win, but I think it'll be a close one. All right, we got Curtis.
Max Payne Griffin no longer coming on the Darce podcast.
No, Payne's cool, man. We talk on Instagram sometimes. I got love for Max Payne Griffin. All right, man. Next leg up. Cal, close it out for us. What do you got?
I'm going to go with ROI for Mr. Plus. I'm going to go with the Mean Machine. I got to go with Garcia, man. I just see that Cater's win really breaking down his UFC career. It's not that great. And he gets hit. I went through the numbers already. I don't need to break it down any more than I already have. He's absorbed a lot of strikes in his last 5 fights. So for me, I just like Garcia. I think he's the best value straight up money line this week. So I would bet him now money line while you can.
Yeah, I saw it move minus 140, moved to minus 125, and I wonder if more sharp action is going to come in on Cater. So I was wondering if I should wait to bet it, but minus 125. If you think Garcia's a win streak you don't want to get in front of right now, and he's just going to keep tearing through, that's a great knocked out. Yeah, you like Cater first knockout of his career too. It'd be wild. Let me put together the odds of this real quick and see what we're getting here. We got Kennedy and Zechku at minus 205. I think that's pretty solid because if he keeps it standing, he's going to look like minus 800. So that's plus his leg. My leg, I got Chris Curtis minus 325, and we're closing it out with minus 125 Steve Garcia. That's plus 250 on the Darce parlay for you guys right there. Boom shakalaka. All right, guys. Just a few fights to talk about left. The ones we haven't talked about. It's time for the honorable mentions. And we're going to rip through these real quick, close the show out because we got things to do. We didn't talk about Mitch Ramirez plus 650 against Mike Davis minus 1,000. Davis coming off a disappointing loss where Perez Zia just kind of outclassed him. But now he's a huge favorite again, Mr. Plus. I guess his wrestling is supposed to win out in this matchup. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess. Really don't like this fight. Really not going to bet this one at all. If I had to pick, I'll go with Davis. But, we're talking minus 1,000, zero value whatsoever. I hope Rich Ramirez fucks him up, but it's probably not going to happen.
That would be cool to see a huge dog win like that. But, Cal, what do you think? I mean, Davis inside the distance for some value. Maybe you can beat him up on the ground.
I'll be honest, breaking this down or even spending too much time does anybody a disservice because I don't think you should touch this line. I think Davis has let us down in the past. The line's extremely wide. He probably wins handily any way he wants, but I'm just not touching it. I just think it's, Ramirez, he's had an up and down coming into the UFC. I mean, he's faced Prates. We've seen that. He's faced some pretty solid competition, but for me, I just, no play.
Yeah,
just stay away.
Pass. In my head, I'm seeing Mike Davis arm triangle. I don't know. Don't do it,
Brasco. What are you doing to the followers, man? Come on, homie.
Yeah, don't do anything with that. Next up, talked about that. Bada bing, bada boom. Junior Tafa, who had a mention earlier, against Tuco Tokos. I can't believe I actually did tape study for this fight. I was like, man, I'm wasting time because this is a lower level fight. I think it could come down to just cardio and conditioning. Who's got a gas tank at the end? Tokos isn't very skilled, but he's got some toughness. He went the whole way with Navajo Sterling. And Tafa, he's got more punching power. All 6 of his MMA wins are by knockout, so he's the more dangerous puncher. But I don't know. I mean, he's grappling defense still not there, and Tokos can grapple a little bit. So I lean Tafa with his punching power. But plus, Tokos, any value here on the dog?
No, none at all. I like Tafa. The line's right. This guy might have been on the bus almost. I think coming down to 205 is the best decision Junior Tafa's ever made. He looked shredded for 205, and all those wins that you just talked about, the KO ones, were all in the heavyweight division. He's still got the power in his hands. Just because you lose fat doesn't mean you're not as strong as you are. You might even be stronger. I like Junior Tafa here. 205 is where he was made, what he was made for. I think we're going to get to see something special out of him on Saturday night. I think the Juggernaut gets the knockout early.
Big highlight knockout coming up. I mean, yeah, Cal, he's coming off that verbal tap we were talking about. But I was looking at some film on Tokos. Like, all right, can he hang with him in the striking at all? Dude, I saw him knock out a guy that I then realized was 1-8. Like, that was like 3 fights ago. Like, what are we doing here? So, yeah. Your thoughts on Tafa?
Yeah, I'm not like Plus. I know he's a big backer of the Tafa brothers, but I am not a Tafa backer. I don't like either of them. I'm not a fan of them at all. I could do without them. I think that they belong on a Bellator Hawaii card, and that's it. That's me. But at the same time, I couldn't find my way to Tukos as well. Just there's not enough value. I could see myself betting the dog and then being like, what did I do? And he's partway through a round and he's not going for takedowns and he's just doing things wrong. And I'm not touching it. I stay off this one. I stay off Tafa fights, both of them, not touching it. Go to Bellator. Yeah, Bellator's gone. Yeah, good. Do that too. Just stop fighting. Thank you.
Go to Hawaii. Shout out Hawaii. Shout out Bellator Hawaii. Nah, I'm with Plus. I think he knocks him out. I think he finds a knockout shot on this one. Vitor Petrino minus 750 taking on Austin Lane plus 525. Former NFL player. Always shout that out. Lane pulled off that one upset against Robelis Despain, where we all thought Robelis was just going to just absolute colossal hammer fist him from the sky. And then he got out grappled and realized, okay, this guy stinks off his back. Lane ain't pulling those off again. Petrino, this is up at heavyweight now, Cal. What do you think? Petrino at heavyweight should smoke him, right?
Yeah, this is a Petrino play, and I might try to find – I was looking at maybe 1 or 2 or maybe KO early, but if I do that, then Lane's going to drag it over and piss me off, and then Petrino's going to finish him late. So the line's so wide. Guys got to be careful with these couple fights on this card. The lines are so wide. Be careful where you're trying to find value because then you're just going to waste your money.
Yeah. All right. So you're passing on this. I mean,
Petrino's just going to beat him up. It's just going to be bad. Probably beats him inside the distance, but
yeah. Some tough lines to bet, Mr. Plus. How do you see this one playing out?
I just don't understand it. Petrino's moving up to fucking heavyweight. Why? I mean, they got to check this guy for steroids. Let's be honest. I don't know. I don't know where that move is coming from. He lost his last 2 fights. Dustin Jacoby, Anthony Smith. So better when he fights better competition, he loses. When he fights shitty competition, he wins. Obvious and listen, some of his wins weren't even shitty, right? It's like Modestas Bukauskas looking like a good victory nowadays. Yeah, man, gotta go Petrino, but minus 700, no value, and Austin Lane is trash. I don't know how this guy's still in the UFC. Yeah, this fight's weird.
The way I see it playing out, maybe Petrino hurts him with a punch. I mean, I think he's a lot better striker too, technically. But Lane maybe shoots like a sloppy takedown, and he gets guillotined and ends up in top mounted guillotine, I should say, and gets finished with a Petrino sub. That's my prediction there. Yo, here's a banger. Nate the Train Landwear taking on Morgan Sharier. We didn't talk about it. On cue for that, because this is definitely the banger of the night here. Nate the Train Landwear, Morgan Sharier, strikers going at it here. We know Landwear unafraid of a firefight. He will trade punches. Sharier coming off a loss where he was looking pretty good, like a pretty hot French prospect, but got dominated by Nathaniel Wood, who's just too experienced, too savvy, too technical, and was outclassed by him. So can he come back with that power striking? We know he's got those heavy body kicks, that heavy right cross, and Landwear, a guy that can get in your face, make the fight nasty, and put you away a number of ways. So, plus, what are you thinking about this fight?
I'm really flopping back and forth. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Big Nate the Train fan, but like what I see from Sharier as well. Obviously, Nathaniel Wood had his way with him. I don't know that Nate Landwear is as technical as Nathaniel Wood, right? However, what Nate Landwear does have in common with somebody that Sharier's fought before is definitely Chepe. He's a dog. He'll walk through fire. I mean, this guy is kill or be killed, and that's exactly what Nate brings to the table. Both of these guys lost their last 2 out of 3 fights. Kind of, like Nate's L's a little bit better, to be honest. Dan Ige, obviously, and Choi looked really good. So I don't know. Man, it's hard to sleep on Nate for all this plus money. I might have to take a shot, but you guys definitely kind of talked me into it, and I feel like Sharier is the right side. But man, I might sprinkle something for plus money. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Landwear is tough. Is always live because of his toughness, Cal. He can be in any fight. He's the comeback king. But that's the thing for me is like, will that brawling style work against a heavy hitter like Sharier, who got outpointed, out-technicaled, outclassed at range like that by a guy like Wood? That's not this matchup at all. I mean, Landwear's gotten more technical a little bit with his game, but by round 2, we're scrapping, right? And I don't know, man. I think he might take a big shot against Sharier that drops him. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, we talked about this one at length prior to the show. This was going to potentially be my Darce leg, and then as much as Sharier, I think, does win this fight, the line was just a little bit too wide, and I didn't think there was value in that. And I do see it the way you see it, though. It's not the same fight as with Wood. Wood's very smart, very tactical with his approach. He's able to wear on you and slowly, bleed on somebody who has bad cardio. And that's just not going to happen with Nate Landwear. Nate Landwear will bring chaos to actually bleed your cardio, but he leaves himself exposed everywhere. And he's going to get hit and landed on. And Charier's his striking's beautiful, and he lands with power. And although he has faded and had some moments that we don't necessarily like in the UFC, I think he's the side in this one. And I likely will go with Morgan, and then the over, maybe an over or fight to start round 2 is my parlay pick.
Yeah, I like that. I think he's learning on the job still. I think also Landwear, after a career of doing this, how much longer at 37 years old can you keep this style up? Coming off that Duho Choi fight where Choi beat the shit out of him. I mean, Choi, like Plus said, Choi looked really good. Don't sleep on Duho Choi. That's not a bad loss, but he put some serious damage on him. And Landwear's a guy who, you look at his wins, he took damage in all those too. So, yeah, man, I like Sharier to find a big shot. I don't know if he knocks him out, but I think he hurts him and controls the fight. All right, guys, and last fight that we haven't talked about is the co-main event of the evening. It's a great one to close out at. Shout out Lord of Pies. Shout out Anthony, who are in the chat with us the whole way through. Shout out my guy God, who's here with us late. God. We got to talk about the God. I love it. We got to talk about Stephen Wonderboy Thompson plus 320, taking on Gabriel Bonfim, minus 410. Odds are a little bit shocking to me, Mr. Plus. Look, I know Bonfim is a really skilled grappler, and Wonderboy's lost to skilled grapplers before. Bonfim coming off a really good performance against Chaos Williams. Wonderboy got knocked out by Joaquin Buckley. But plus 320 for a guy of Wonderboy's caliber, are the odds off in this one to you?
It's a little disrespectful to my boy Wonderboy, but I mean, he's old, man. 42. This dude ain't the same Wonder Boy. He's not the Wonder Boy anymore. He's Wonder Man. I don't know, dude. I kind of want to. This is another one I kind of want to sprinkle the dog, but I don't know. We saw Bonfim take that L to Dalby. We saw it was a weak performance from him, right? And Dalby was just outdogged him, and then knocked him out, right? It was a knee, right? Clinched the knees and ground punches. Man, you think Wonder Boy could do something here? I'm not sure. I swear, if Gabriel Bonfim locks up that guillotine, sometimes it's over right then and there. A little disrespectful on the line. I might have to take a shot, Danny, because we're big fans of Wonder Boy. But, man, this is an old Wonder Man.
Let's go, though. Cue the tenacious decal. Wonder Boy, what is the secret to your power? Look, he's not going to give the same style that Dalby gave to him that just kind of dogged him, grind him out, right, outpaced him. No, he's the karate distance manager, master, rangy, high, touch you can't touch me. But he was looking good against Buckley before Buckley found that knockout shot. In fact, I think he was up 2 rounds. I think he was up on the scorecards doing his thing. So I think even at his old age, he's still got the skill. The problem is if he can stave off the takedowns. I mean, yeah, he's getting worked by Burns and Bilal Muhammad and Shavkat Rakhmonov. Yeah, I like Bonfim as a grappler, but we're not putting him on that level. So do you think minus 410 is fair here for Bonfim?
This is a potential trap here, guys. Like as much as the line is plus 310. What are we talking about here? Let's take a look for a minute. All right. Joaquin Buckley knocked him out with a right hook in the 3rd round. Shavkat submitted him in the 2nd round. Yes, I know they're monsters. Kevin Holland should have taken him down and won the fight and would have won that fight 100%, but he didn't because he's dumb and wanted running shoes. Next, Bilal Muhammad. Yeah, I mean, it's just you can go through all of his fights. He loses to Bilal Muhammad, gets taken down a record number of times. Gilbert Burns, he's going to get taken down. And that's where I found myself with this one. Because I, like many people, were looking at this thinking, a level check. We have a guy who's fought the great, the top of the top. But when it comes down to it, there's no value on the line, I think. I'm not a huge fan of Bonfim, but I don't know if we're going to see Wonder Boy bring it to him the way he lost his last fight or lost his loss. So for me, Wonder Boy, I don't see the value. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Too many losses, man. Too many losses. It's a lot of red. Go to Tapology. A lot of red.
It's a lot of red. It's a lot of red against good fighters, but I mean, maybe the line is the line for a reason, right? Wonder Boy, if he gets taken down, Plus mentioned it. The Bonfim.
He's squeeze, riding the bus.
Yeah, Bonfim squeeze is nasty, so could put him away here. But I think Wonder Boy's got to let me. I'll put a little quarter unit, see if he's got a little something for him. Keep him away. Tiki-taka karate style.
I think I have to by just UFC betting law.
One last time, says Cal. One last time. All right, guys, we covered the entire UFC Nashville card. Lewis versus Teixeira in the main event. And we got some good picks across the board. Some debate. We're against each other on some. Of course, we came together for the Darce Parlay. We got some dogs. We got some segments. You can go back, watch, hit the like button. Throw a comment in there. Let us know what you think and tune into the Darce podcast every single week because we're here to break down every UFC event and give you our best bets and breakdowns. Thank you, Cal, on the 1s and 2s and here on the show breaking picks down with us today. Thank you, Mr. Plus, and thank you, everyone who's watching the show. I'm your boy, Danny Brasco, and we will see you next week. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.
Jasmine Jasovizzi is here. Don't forget to tap into the Darce podcast.
Cal on the 1s and 2s. We are live for a fantastic episode. And I am here for a big card.
I just don't know what people seen in tape.
I'll see you when that cashes.
the main event of the evening.
This is Matt, the Steamroller Frivola. Tap into the Darce podcast for all your MMA bets.